if the Patriots win this game, they beat Buffalo, and it's been an uneven Buffalo team. Is that locked up pretty much? We're like, oh, yeah, that's it. That's the AFC team now that is finally going to be able to grab this pole position and actually hang on to it. I mean, I know Baltimore, and that number one seed, that's still factors. But I guess, is this the game where it kind of dispels any notion that there's something fraudulent about this Patriots team, which I don't think there is, but we'll see.
That's an interesting question. I first of all, I expect the Patriots to certainly cover. I expect they would win. Bills are favored by 3. I'm anticipating that the Patriots will win. Last season, I believe the Patriots lost both times to the Bills, and I don't think Belichick lets that happen another year in a row. I also feel like this is a game that could get out of hand for Josh Allen. Like, we've seen him have these up and down contests, right, and we can attribute some of those struggles to the lack of balance, like we talked about at the top of the show, like the lack of a steady running game for him to rely on. I do think this one gets out of control for him, particularly because Tre'Davious White isn't going to be active. So now the secondary, which is still pretty good, like, is losing its biggest star. That could mean more passing opportunities for Mac Jones, who, by the way, his biggest credit, right, is that he doesn't make any mistakes. And he's certainly going to make fewer of them, if any, when you don't have the number one cornerback, arguably in the league, on the field. And so I do think that if Josh Allen gets into a little bit of a hole, we could see him pressing and Belichick and Matt Judon, frankly, like, taking full advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's not the team I would want to face when you're sort of, I guess I would say, one-dimensional, because let's be honest, I mean, they really are. It's very much a passing predicated offense right now. And I'm not a big fan, even if the Patriots are still putting it back together, I never would want to go up against Belichick being a one-dimensional team, because that's the type of situation where he feasts, he figures out. And let's be honest, like, he hasn't always been completely successful. Okay, take away the best opposing player. Well, Stephon Diggs beat the living hell out of the Patriots, the last time Bill Belichick tried to do that. And so the capability obviously is still there for the Buffalo Bills. But, even playing at home, it's what they've had every other since the bye. So they really, even before the bye. So they lose to Tennessee going into the bye. Then they beat Miami, lose to Jacksonville, beat the Jets, lose to Indianapolis, beat the Saints. I don't know what to think of the Bills. I just don't. I can't. I'm kind of like, this has to be a game where I learn something about them in terms of consistency or ability to get themselves, on the right track. But I guess by the same token, who are the Patriots going to have to beat for me to fully 100% stamp that team as someone that I think, even with a rookie quarterback, could push this into the postseason and actually make a Super Bowl run?
Also, just a side note, feel like there is something very settling about Bill Belichick winning again. And it's not because of a return to normalcy or because of, like, Tom Brady or any of that. But I think it's really nice to see people who work very hard, regardless of whether or not they have tons of extras at their disposal, succeeding. Like, it feels very wonderfully puritanical, and especially in a time where you wonder if consequence is a thing anymore, to see Bill Belichick be like, all right, fine, I'm going to work really hard. I'm going to think smarter than everybody else. Maybe I'm going to blur the lines between innovation and cheating, but I'm going to, like, get it done and focus. And I don't know, there's something I think, soul settling about success when you follow that, pilgrimanic, if you will, blueprint.
Let me rattle off real quick the 8 wins that the Patriots had this season. This is what I can't get over this. Beat the Jets, beat Houston. Those are terrible teams. I'm sorry, those are awful franchises, right? Mm-hmm. You beat the Jets again. You beat the Chargers, and we thought that was a big win. It's not. The Chargers, you can't trust the Chargers. The Chargers are not what we thought they were, so that's not even that impressive. You beat the Panthers. This is a show, okay? Mm-hmm. You beat the Cleveland Browns. Show part 2. Okay. You beat the Atlanta Falcons. You beat the Tennessee Titans, who are falling apart with injuries.
And you beat them without Derrick Henry on the field.
And you beat them without Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
That's the 8 wins. Like, that's the 8 wins. Like, not one of those teams. Maybe if Tennessee had been full strength, but I look at those wins and I'm like, I don't see a single team. I like the Chargers at a point. Now I don't know what the hell is going on there. And yet, so maybe this next stretch, 2 against Buffalo, one against Indianapolis, which is actually playing tougher than, I thought they would be at this stage, has figured out what they are offensively. Maybe this now 3-game stretch is really going to tell us the truth about what New England really is.